Hey, everybody. Today we're diving into a really exciting package management solution. I'm joined today by two fantastic guests from Quantsite. We have Jaime and Sophia.
Hello, Adam. Nice to be here.
Could somebody tell me what Conda is and why somebody might use it?
I would describe Conda as a packaging technology. The term is very loaded, so if you have heard about it before, you might have heard about the Conda tool or Conda packages or Conda channels, a lot of Condas, right? But ultimately, it's a technology, it's an ecosystem of different packaging technologies. So it started like 50 years ago in Anaconda, and those were the creators of this technology. But over time has evolved into a multi-stakeholder, community-driven initiative, let's say. So you can see different companies participating in the ecosystem, providing new tooling and new ways of doing things. Anaconda provided a cloud storage server quite early in the history of the ecosystem. It was called Beanstar initially,
Mm.
and then it was renamed to anaconda.org. And this is where you will find the Anaconda channels, but also community channels. Conda Forge is one of those, actually the biggest channel in the Conda ecosystem. So when we talk about the Conda community, we have Conda ecosystem, and embedded in that we have the Conda community itself that governs how the technologies evolve, but also the Conda Forge community that governs
Uh,
how these packages are built and distributed.
who's using it? What type of people? What are they using it for?
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of different personas in our community. It's true that even if I didn't fully specify this, but Conda is language agnostic and multi-platform. So in principle, you can use it for anything that is a file that needs to be distributed. It works by unpacking an archive into a target directory and then some binary relocation. But so it makes it feasible to package Python stuff, Python packages, including the Python interpreter. So it sits atop of a language ecosystem. But because of that, you can also use it for Rust. You can also use it for C binaries and C++ libraries. A lot of users also come from the R side of things. So we also
Oh,
distribute the R runtime and R packages. I've seen Node packages because of Jupyter Lab. That it's very adjacent. So it's like a nice transition of ecosystems from Python to Node. So yeah, a lot of it. Pulumi is there as well. So the SDKs can be found as Conda package if you want. So in
wow.
that way, people compare Conda to pip a lot
Hmm.
because Conda can be used as a pip replacement, but it can also be used as a homebrew replacement. But it's also like homebrew for everything. You can have the same Conda packages on Windows if they have been built for that platform. So yeah, it's flexible in that regard. Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge scope, by the way. Yeah. It's both pip and homebrew and it's cross-platform. And so Sophia, how'd you get involved in Conda Forge? And like what's it like interacting with this community?
Yeah, I first got involved wow, it was a lot of years ago now, but I was interning at was Continuum Analytics then, so working on Conda. And then at that time, new tools were coming out, stuff like Conda Build, which made it easier for people to build Conda packages. And then the Conda Forge community was really starting to build. So just as part of my job after I graduated, I joined, it became known as Anaconda, the company then. So I was still working on Conda, and then yeah, a lot of our job was also interacting with the community because Conda Forge was getting bigger and bigger, and soon to be eclipsing Anaconda as the biggest builder of packages in the Conda ecosystem.
What kind of challenges do you face running like a large package repository like this? Like I assume it's within your power to break lots of people's workflows, I guess is what comes to mind. But what do you guys what are the challenges day to day?
Yeah, every April Fool's, we just get this like, who are we going to annoy today? No, no, we have never done that because, yeah, that's actually a big problem. So this community serves almost 1 billion monthly downloads. 20 feedstock is how we call each repository that ends up building one or more packages. It's the repository with the metadata and the build scripts plus the automation. We have 25,000 of those. And 6,000 people are working on it daily. And the whole channel, 2 million artifacts. And some of these things are totally thousands of times every day because it's such a basic dependency such Python or XZ or some libarchive build. So imagine if it breaks, you push a bad Python build for the last version, then a lot of data scientists are gonna be very sad. It's tricky to maintain and operate on it and change things, improve things, how long it takes to build a package or to be distributed. And Conda handles a lot of that for free for the community, so it's amazing. But when it comes to infrastructure, it's very, very, very challenging to operate on this moving track, and you cannot stop to change a wheel.
The technical challenges sound immense, but how does the community interact? Is it just there on GitHub Actions or on that Conda Forge site, or how do they how do you hear from the community?
So in the community itself, when it comes to communication, a lot of it is GitHub based. So you're going to have pull requests or issues, either asking or presenting, proposing changes. But we recently also changed our chat platform to Zulip. And it's been a great change. You can have a lot of parallel conversations in a tidy way compared to our previous solution. So that's a lot of where the conversation can be found now. But it's, again, I'm going to say this word a lot. It's challenging because it's 25,000 repositories. So people can tag you from many different places. I have given up on notifications on GitHub for a long time because the amount of time I say, hey, Conda Forge core, I have a problem here, or can you help me here? Or this doesn't work. Yes, I'm not going to joke. Maybe I get 500 or something. If I don't pay close attention Monday to Friday, by Friday, I have 500 notifications that I didn't attend. And my baseline, my inbox zero level is 100, 180. That's the minimum I can get.
Yeah, I'm not my GitHub account is nothing at that level. Okay, so I mean, you guys are here because I heard you're using Pulumi and I was excited about that. But I wonder, maybe you could share a workflow, but maybe show how packaging works or something.
Yeah, so we can share, Jaime mentioned this idea of feedstocks, where that's where a recipe for how to build a package exists, and that exists as a repo. But the first step, that if you're wanting to build your own package for Conda Forge, the first step you're going to take to interact with the community and share your package is on this stage, recipes repo. So we can just take a look at what is going on with it right now. These are probably all notifications in Jaime's inbox right now.
Let's add a new one.
Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of stuff that goes into making sure that the recipe is in good order. So we have a checklist and stuff. We have some linting services, and all of this is running on a couple of different services. So we have things running in GitHub Actions. We have bots running in Heroku. That's the linters. And then we have these Azure pipelines for actually building the recipes. So I think Jaime also mentioned earlier that we build for multiple platforms. So you can see that here. So depending on what platform you're trying to install on, you're going to pull a different package, but it's all built from the same source. And I guess the part that Pulumi comes into is we have all of these different services that we use to power the CI of building packages. So there are friction points around how do we manage all of these services and make changes to them. So right now, mostly what we're using Pulumi for is dealing with our story around how do we rotate secrets and all these different platforms. It's quite annoying if you need to create a secret and then find the credentials to log into Azure and then find the credentials to log into Heroku, all these things, and you need to get access to them. Yeah, managing that sort of stuff for a core member of Conda Forge can be quite time consuming.
Well, how does it? So you have these different platforms and you're using Azure Pipes. Do you run all the different environments on Azure Pipes? Is it Azure is Windows and Mac and Linux all together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these Azure pipelines, let's open one up. They're just executing like the build for the recipe. So for each like platform that we want to target, we'll like have a build run for that platform. And you can see where there's like a ton of like setting up stuff, but like the builds are like running inside of Docker. And this is like the long logs that are like come out of doing a build. So we build, in this case for this package, Linux 64, OS/64, and Win64. So those will be the platforms that are available for users to install this package on.
And what's the worst platform? Like, what do you hate?
For me personally, it's Windows, just because it's so different and I just don't know it. But I feel like if I did know it, then I wouldn't hate it so much.
I get that.
I still
Sorry.
hate it because of the different mental model you have to apply. Like even if at some point you learn the trick, I don't know, it's still very different as you said. When it comes to the platform itself, Mac on Intel right now on CI is quite painful as well. I don't know why they're getting slower and slower, but we can feel it in the builds. Something to mention as well is that here you can see Intel platforms on Azure. But everybody knows about Apple Silicon on ARM, and GitHub Actions added Linux ARM runners as well. Windows ARM is happening at some point, I guess. So there are different architectures. And Conda Forge has gone through different CI services throughout its history. If you remember Travis, we used it. We have been using it also for PowerPC and Linux ARM. But the scale makes it again challenging. I told you I was going to use that word a lot. We have used Circle CI in the past as well. AppVeyor, different services are running on basically free CI for all of this. So the infrastructure behind the automation in Conda Forge is designed around that constraint. We cannot marry any platform because they come and go. So a lot of what you see in one of these repositories is automated from templates for different CI services, which again makes the secret management story more complicated because different repositories that are built-in packages might be interacting with different services. So it's not just a matter of updating your GitHub org tokens, because maybe the CI service for X package is not compatible with that exchange. So you have to manually register your project in that CI service and they register it when you stop using that platform. It's quite common that one project adopts a new architecture because of the excitement, because it was possible, but then the churn that it creates, the maintenance cost along the years, make it non-useful for them. So then they remove it, and that's totally fair to do. But you have to deal with the drift of that.
Then you have to find a new place to do that. Yeah.
And remove the things you don't need because no one wants a stale token anywhere. So this is when secret management becomes more and more interesting.
Yeah, so let's see it. Let's see how you're using Pulumi for secret management or whatever you can show, I guess.
Yeah, so our story around secret management is we try to keep it like very simple and like very like low touch if you need to change a secret, whatever. So basically we just have like a couple Pulumi scripts and right now we're like syncing to stuff like GitHub Actions and Heroku. And we have like a source of truth where we keep all of our secrets. And the idea is that if you're like a core maintainer and you need to like rotate a secret, either because it's like part of routine, like you are refreshing secrets every once in a while, or I don't know, you want to like add a new secret, you can like go change it in the source of truth. And then we have these Pulumi scripts that you can run here backed by GitHub Actions. So here are little scripts. They're not that interesting, but we have these actions that are interesting. So say you want to like push to Heroku, you can just make whatever changes you want and then like run this workflow. And then you have all of your changes in Heroku. Or if you need to push to rotate a secret and you need to push to everything, you just like set off a couple different workflows. And it's basically like a 2-step process.
Very cool. And you're using YAML, so Pulumi can support various, languages, but it looks like you guys are using YAML, which probably makes a lot of sense. You have a fairly simple use case. Do you have any other plans for using Pulumi with Conda Forge?
What I always wanted to give it a try is to have onboarding and offboarding for different teams set up, not just because it's more convenient and, a couple of clicks as these workflows that Sophia had set up, but also the self-documenting approach of having these things in a repo instead of, hey guys, what do we need to do to add this person here? Like, I don't know, ask this guy who has these keys to that thing. And at the end, it's like, it's not that important. So we'll come back to it later, and it becomes a loose practice. So just having single click things, or at least a central place where these discussions can take place is very useful. So yeah, but we'll see. Those would be our plans, but we still need to implement them at some point without adding too much maintenance burden. That's also one reason for YAML. We cannot do too many things with too fancy things. If you use the Python SDK, which initially was super attractive for us, then you might end up shooting yourself in the foot if you add a lot of porcelain around it. And now you have this complex thing that nobody really understands. But that's why the YAML part is so nice, because that's it. It's very explicit in that way, and we like it.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. And then, so if people want to get more involved with Conda Forge, I guess they should check out that. Was it Zulip? Was that
Yeah, we have an instance on Zulip, conda-forge.com, or just go to our website, conda-forge.org, and then you will find all the relevant links there. You can stay in touch and ask things, or get started if you want to contribute a package or help with maintenance, infrastructure details if you are ops curious. Yeah, I'll be
awesome?
happy to.
Thank you guys for being here and sharing what you're doing. It's exciting to see you using Pulumi, and just, it's a really cool platform. It's an ambitious project to cover all of these platforms, all of these packages, all of this stuff. Even if some platforms like Mac, Intel, or just Windows in general are a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, thank you guys. And yeah, thanks for being on the video.